talking about this year Africa Rises. And of course, like any other time, we wait for some people to get in here. Yeah, to have the conversation. This year Africa Rises. And the reason that I'm saying that this year Africa Rises is because like it's already been 2 weeks and I have seen so much progress from like African countries. I've seen countries stand up for themselves. I have seen people being able to see what Africa can be able to offer at this time. So yet again we are live again and I'm talking about this year Africa Rises. So that's the topic of the day. And I'm actually waiting to get some people in here. But basically basically our topic for today is like this year Africa Rises. So yeah, I think there's somebody, so you guys keep joining, and when you join, like the live, guys, like the live. So let me know what do you think about this year. And okay, before we get there, where are you watching me from? When you join, like the live and let me know where you're watching me from. So, and if this is your first time ever seeing me, my name is Wamboi. Good morning, Dottie. How are you doing? Personally, I'm doing okay. And out here it's evening. So for me, it's like good evening. So guys, when you join the live, kindly consider liking so that we can get some people in here. Dottie is saying, I'm in San Francisco. I'm good. Okay, that's good. That's good. So if this is your first time ever seeing me, guys, when you join the live, like. My name is Wamboi. I was born and raised in Kenya. And today I'm talking about this year Africa Rises. And the reason that I'm talking about this, first of all, the first reason is obvious because I'm African, okay? I'm Kenyan and that means I'm African. So that is actually obvious why I'm saying that this year Africa Rises. But I'm not saying that this year Africa Rises because like I'm African. I'm saying this because it's reality, and we are gonna get to that, guys. So let me know what's the weather where you are this morning, this evening, and if you just woke up, let me know how was your night. Let's get some energy going in here. So Dottie says, good morning, Dottie. I'm in San Francisco. I'm good. Oh, thank you so much, Dottie, for always tuning in, guys. So Scones, hi, Team Rocket here. Yay! Me and my 3 co-workers, we are in the US. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Scone, for joining the live. So today I'm talking about this year Africa Rises, okay? And I'm not talking about this year Africa Rises because I'm not focusing on this year, but we have seen a very massive shift, like about how African countries are moving in the last few years. We have seen inventions, we have seen African countries uniting, like we have seen major changes, major developments. And that's why like I want us to talk about this year Africa Rises. So, and then my first question is like, do you feel the shift of how African countries are moving? Do you feel the shift? Or, and I'm not trying to overhype like Africa or this whole thing about this year Africa Rises or whatever I'm talking about, but I want to know, do you feel the shift? Okay, so I think that's a good place to start. But first of all, let's continue with the greetings. Dimas, She-Town in the house, your second man, the good looking one. Hi, Omboy. Hey, Dimas, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the live. Let me know, do you feel the shift? Do you feel the shift in the political space, especially for African countries? Recently, we have seen this US did roll out a list of African countries that are not allowed to have to do anything to do with the visas, especially the immigration, especially the immigrant visas. And we saw Mali. Mali is a country here in Africa. They did release like a letter saying that like the exact same rules that the US is giving Mali, they're gonna do that to American citizens. And Mali was pulled out of the list immediately. That's what I'm talking about. Does this mean that African countries are getting to know their worth? Does this mean that African countries are starting to see that, like, we are actually worth it, okay? So that move by Mali is actually a very significant move. Mali just saying that, like, you know what, whatever you want our citizens to do to come to your country, your citizens are also gonna do the same thing. And I think that was such a bold move. I watched that and I was like, wow, this is actually the way to go for African countries, okay? So my question is, do you feel like countries like Mali, what Mali did with the US the last time, because they were on the list, the countries that are not allowed to apply for the immigration to the US, and they also did the same to the American citizens, and US had to pull down Mali from the list. Do you think that, like, do you think that, like, that is strategic and can be eye-opening for other African countries? Dimas, it's pronounced She-Town. It's short for Chicago. I know. Oh, did I say Chi? If I said Chi, I'm so sorry. So sorry. It's pronounced She-Town. Okay. Dirty says, I think it's showing that America is showing lack of worth. For so many years, like, leadership, everyone was always looking at the West, okay? The West was just saying what we are gonna do, and all the other countries just did follow without question, without bargaining, just follow, okay? But right now, African countries are getting to say, no, we're not gonna do this. And Mali is a good example. Mali did, the US rolled out a list saying that countries that are not allowed to migrate to the US. And you know what Mali did? They did the same. Like, they said, oh, this is what you want our citizens to do. We are also gonna do that, okay? I feel like this is very strategic for the African countries. And if you've been long enough here on my channel, you know I have been talking about what African countries can do. Because why do Africans have to have all these visas and all these requirements to go to these countries, and everybody else just comes to Africa, just like it's like a place that doesn't have any glory? So I feel like this is very strategic for African countries, and Mali is actually opening other African countries' eyes. So, and then for a very long time, Africa have been portrayed as such a dark place to be. But right now we are getting to see the other side of Africa. We can see shows like there have been people who have come to Africa to, like, show it, okay? And that is a very good move. And that's why I'm saying this year Africa rises. And guys, my name is Wambui. When you join the live, like and let me know where you watching me from. And thank you so much for joining. So you can like and subscribe, and that will be so supportive. So Scone says, this is more about Trump not understanding foreign affairs. Yeah, because, like, I think Trump's intention is, like, to just scare away all these people. But when he realizes that other countries can be able to stand up for themselves, we have seen what he's been doing with Greenland, like just waking up and saying that we are gonna buy this country, okay? This isn't, he's just saying these things because everyone is scared of the US. It's like you don't want to be on the other side of on the bad side of the US. So, but like countries like Mali rising up saying that, like, you know what, we are not scared. We also have a lot of things to offer. The whole world does need Africa, and that's one of the things that we are supposed to realize. The whole world does need Africa, okay? But it's just like they keep telling us that we have nothing to offer. And then now we get this impression like, okay, so because we have nothing to offer, we have to humble ourselves, you know? So let me know, do you feel like this move that African countries are taking, for example, Mali, and I'm using Mali as the example because this is the same move that I think all African countries should take. May it be business, may it be anything, okay? Dirty says, it's good to see African counties standing up for themselves. I'm assuming you're saying African countries, okay? Yeah, it's good to see that. It's good to see that. Wu says, because we don't know our own world, and Africa isn't really rising, or is it? No, I'm saying it is rising, okay? But it's not this whole hype. Whoa, Africa is rising, but it's actually slow but strategic. But not all African countries have been able to realize the potential that we do have, okay? But countries like Mali, and there's a reason that I'm not talking about Kenya when I talk about countries realizing what they have to offer, and I'm talking about Mali because what Mali did, if all African countries did that, all the countries that were banned from going to these countries, if they also do that, like let them ban these people from even doing trade with them, you know what they will do? Like they will just realize that all the countries do need each other, and other countries need Africa than African need them. I know we do need them for business, but it's like, why is it like Africans have to pay all this stuff, and like for anybody else they can just come to African countries for free? Okay, so because we don't know our own worth. Yeah, that's the truth. Like if you don't know your worth, people are gonna be walking all over you. Diamonds, a country should never be feared, it should be respected. We America used to be respected. Yeah, United States of America used to be respected, but right now actually America is losing its position on the global politics. But it's just because we have this leader who is just so obsessed with himself. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for African countries to be able to stand on their own feet and to be able to like unite and make Africa, the continent, a great place. So I want us to talk about what have been the things that have been pulling us behind. First of all, it's like what Wu said. We don't know our worth, and that's a problem right there. Okay, so let me know what are the other things that you can see that have been pulling African countries behind. Okay, it could be knowingly or unknowingly. Okay, let me know. Let us make this as interactive as possible, because it's not about me what I can see, it's also about you guys. What do you see? Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Diamas, actually. Dottie says lol. Yeah. That's what yes, countries. Okay. Scott says, I have to agree, Africa is rising because we are hearing more and more positive things about Africa. For example, this show like iShowSpeed in Africa, he have actually done such a good job. Of course, it was personal, and him visiting Africa was actually a direct benefit to him. But also people get to see Africa. We saw so many Black Americans coming out to say that like they're actually very surprised that Africans don't live in the jungle. Like we are not hunting, we are not out looking for deers, we are not living in huts, all of us. It's they are just so shocked to realize that like we are just living a life like they are. Okay, and this is good publicity. That is one of the reasons why Africa is going to be rising, on the rise this year. We have seen in Kenya, we have had a lot of tourists. We have had a lot of tourists, especially after the publicity by iShowSpeed. You see, so this is what I'm saying. Like, if African countries take the opportunity this year, this is the chance for Africa to rise. Scon says, okay, I have to agree, Africa is rising because we are hearing more and more positive things about Africa. Yeah, and that is the beginning, because today I saw a clip by, I don't know, Crazy Kena. He's a Kenyan creator, and he was just demonstrating what normally happens when like Hollywood comes to Africa to like film a show. They see all the nice places. When they get to a nice place, they turn their camera off. Okay, and then when they get to a very deserted place, they turn the camera on. I don't know if that's true or not, but like that shows you like negative publicity have been one of the reasons why Africa is poor. Negative publicity. Nobody is willing to come and invest in some place where like you're being told like it's dangerous, like it's not a place worth going, you know. Dottie says, Diamonds, Trump has not just made us a joke, he's pushed us down. Okay, and actually, let us sit with that one for a while. What do you guys feel about United States president? Like, growing up, I think I grew up, the moment that I started understanding politics, it was actually President Obama's time. And I think there was a time that, like, he came to Kenya. And even kids, like all of us, the papers, everybody was talking about United States president coming to Kenya. And it was such a, like, a glamorous moment. Like, all of us, we were like, people were analyzing the airplane that he came on. This country was very, very respectable. But, like, I think when a president is so much involved, tweeting every day on Twitter, like, writing stuff on Twitter every day. It just feels like a joke. It just feels more like a joke. But I don't blame Trump because he seems to have more tantrums than actually real life stuff. So guys, let me know, what do you think about Trump and what he's doing? Do you think that African countries are gonna want to continue doing trade with United States, especially after the way that Trump have been belittling Africa continuously? Guys, and if you join the live, my name is Wamboi, and today we are talking about this year Africa Rises. And the reason I'm talking about this year Africa Rises is because like this is a very perfect opportunity for Africa to rise this year. Especially we have had very positive publicity of Africa. So if African countries do seize this opportunity, we can be able to go so far. So, and I want you guys' opinion. This is not my conversation. I want to know you guys' opinion. What do you think about this topic? Okay. Dotty D, give yourself some credit as well. I've learned a lot about Africa in the recent days because of your videos. I'm not ignorant of Africa, but I have learned new things. Thank you so much, Dotty. I know. I think when you talk about the same thing, and especially when like somebody like me, I'm obsessed with talking about Black people, politics, because I do like politics and I like to analyze these things because this is real life. You know, politics just determines our day-to-day life. So I am so glad, Dotty, that like by watching my videos every time you get to learn something about Africa. Okay, Dotty says, sadly, it's true. It's all about where you point the camera. That's true. And that's why you have seen African countries continuously negative publicity. Nothing good comes out of Africa. Okay, like because like, you know, for example, maybe I cannot be able to go to go to the, let's say, to France right now. But what do I see? I watch on Netflix Emily in Paris, and I see that they are so keen to show all the nice places. So in my mind, when I think about France, I think about Emily in Paris, and I think about this glamorous place. Okay, so it's about negative publicity. Africa have been negatively publicized. When people come to Kenya, they go to the slums, they go to the villages where like people are living in shacks, you know. They go to the places where it's extremely dry in Moyale, the dry places, the arid and semi-arid areas. So that's what I'm talking about, negative publicity. Let me know, what is the other reason that have made so many people look down on Africa continuously? Scott says, I've always thought of Africa as a place to visit, but lately I've seen it as a place to live. Okay, yeah, and I'm glad you guys are getting to open your eyes to that. Dimas is saying, I'd visit, and I want to visit, but I'll never live there unless I am Mumbai lets me live with her. So you would visit Africa, but you would, Dimas says he would visit Africa, but he would never be interested in living in Africa. Let me know, why would you, Dimas, let me know, why would you not want to live in Africa? Have all these like stereotypes about Africa gotten to you? Like, do you think that Africa is a jungle? Do you think all of this stuff? Okay, and I know this is the reality for so many people, that they can visit African countries, but they wouldn't stay. It's like, but you know what? One of the other reasons that I think people have been looking down on Africa is the fact that even as Africans, we keep just treasuring going to other people's countries. We never take a moment, like you just graduate. For example, me personally, I'm a graduate. You graduate, the moment you graduate, you're just thinking about like where you're gonna get the opportunity, because mostly there's no opportunities here in Africa, but you can create your own businesses out here, okay, which requires capital. So that is also another thing that have been making Africa to be down. Yeah, because just because we also look down on ourselves. Sun says, Sun Q2B. Hello, director. Hello, Sun. How are you doing? Love is responsibility. Why do you think love is responsibility? It's not. Okay, let me go back to Scon. Not welcome to the live, Sun, actually. And when you join the live, guys, consider liking the live so that we can get some more people in here. Scontetsu says, and again, that is how I'm seeing Africa lately. The camera are pointing at the better places. I know. Right now, I think after the way you have seen so many right now. YouTube is actually free, okay? Through YouTube, you guys, I can be able to stream, and you can see that I'm not living in a hole or in a shack. So that is a good thing. That's a good thing. So we are being able to be able to tell our own story, because for so many years people have been coming and telling our own stories. People have been fundraising money through non-governmental organization. People have been fundraising money for us, money that never gets to us, okay? At least for the very first time, okay? For the very first time, we get to determine the way our story is told. For the very first time, actually, very soon, guys, I'm planning to like show you a village series. I'm gonna go to my village and I'm gonna show you guys how it looks like. So this is what I'm talking about. So through platforms like social media, YouTube, you guys can be able to see the real life, not the ones that like somebody comes who have never ever existed in African countries. Somebody comes and just publicizes one thing. San Q2B says responsibility is life based. Love is war. Really? Is it war? I don't think I believe that. Because if love is war, is that love? Diamonds, just more modern conveniences. I know Africa has modern things, but they are here and there. In America, even the poor have modern things. I can agree with that, because the other day when I was live, like you saw, guys, electricity just goes out. That's one thing that I gotta be very honest. I think so many people are telling people to move to Africa, but there's no complete what is it called? People are not being so clear when telling you to move to Africa. But one of the things that you need to realize, like, electricity might come and go, okay? Especially if you don't settle in a major city, electricity is just going to be like a problem. Not in all the places, but like even in Nairobi, you have electricity. Let's say you have electricity right now, but within a second, the electricity can just go away. So that is what we are talking about. Sometimes there's no continuous water, like there's water, but like it's not like the way you are guaranteed out there, maybe in other countries. But that is one of the other things that people should be working on, like African countries should be working on, having continuous water, because it's like this place rains, okay? We have boreholes. Why can't we be able to have electricity, to have water, all this type of stuff, guys? So when you join the live, if this is your first time ever seeing me, my name is Wamboi. I was born and raised in Kenya, and welcome to the live, guys. When you join, like and subscribe to my channel, guys. So Dottie says, Dottie, yes, people showing their own videos allows us to see a more complete view of the world in Africa. And that's one of the things that I like about going live. It's like you guys get to experience this video without me having a chance to edit it. Because if I'm given a chance to edit, I'm gonna remove most of the things that I say, okay? Because if I'm given a chance, I'm going to just put the things that I want you guys to see. So this is with YouTube, you guys are getting to experience Africa raw. Context says, I agree. Social media is playing a big part in seeing the truth. Yeah, very true, very true. I don't know what the world would be like right now if we don't have social media. Social media have actually helped so much. It's a business opportunity for so many people, but also right now you can just Google anything and you get an honest opinion. Okay, you just don't have to like sit down and have a bunch of people tell you what some place is like. San says, mothers is the first teacher kids. Okay, I think the son, mothers is the first teacher. I agree with you. Mothers are actually the first teachers. Okay, like when you are born, I agree that like your mother is your first teacher. You learn the language that your mother speaks. Diamond says there are actually laws ensuring that water, electricity, and other take for granted items are available for everyone. Wow, that's one of the things that I actually sometimes do dislike about African countries. It's like there is everything that you need, but like there's no laws. Like right now, if electricity goes out, I can only hope that like they're gonna work on it. There's nowhere that you can report this. Nobody that you can tell that like, oh, we don't have you. There's people that you can tell, but what are they gonna do? Okay, and also most African countries are actually very corrupt. So you go and report something, is not nobody's gonna act on that. Nobody's gonna act on that. So that's another thing. African countries, if this year African countries manage to end corruption, Africa is gonna be on the rise, okay? Because one of the things that have been pulling us down is corruption. Because corruption, corruption actually makes sure that like citizens or people who live in a particular country do not get what they need or what they, what they need. So that is one of the things that you guys have in the West that we don't have. Dottie says, I like how San Q2B things. You're so correct. My mother was my first teacher and best teacher. I know. Diamonds, fathers too. Why do we always leave fathers out of conversation of raising children? But you know why fathers are actually left out in conversations of raising children? Because you guys, men leave most of the work for the women, okay? So for most men, it's always about just like giving the woman the pregnancy, and then after that it's like, no, you just want to work like this masculine person, okay? I feel like fathers are left out because they deserve to be left out. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that like fathers are supposed to be like recognized like mothers? Mothers are actually very selfless, and I'm not saying that fathers are not selfless, but like fathers are not that like the ways, if something is happening to you, the way it affects you is not the same way that the way it affects your mom is not the same way that it affects your father. And that's why so many people are so fond of their mothers, or so many people feel feel when something is happening to their mother than when it's happening to their father. I think it's just how it was meant to be. What do you guys think? Diamonds raised a concern. Why do we always leave fathers out of conversation of raising children? But I feel like because most fathers are deadbeat, and the ones that are present, they are just there, but they don't show affection to their kids. They are the first to punish, but not to show love. Okay. Dottie says, my father was always a good teacher and stayed close. Okay, that's a good thing. Diamonds, this is so unfair. Women abandon their children too, but we talk about good mothers and bad fathers. No, women abandon their children, but what percentage of women normally abandon their children? Like 10%. What percentage of men abandon their children? 90%. So that is just statistic. It's not even about like conversing. It's about statistic. Men are actually, they are good people, but like most of the time they end up abandoning their children. Okay. Yeah, and also the other thing, I feel like the other reason why children are very connected to their mothers is because like this is the first person that like before you are even born, you have a relationship with this person. Okay. Sandra Otieno Malaika 1522. Hi Sandra, how are you doing? Welcome to the live. My name is Wamboy. You can like, subscribe. So welcome to the chat. So Diamonds raised a question saying, why do we always acknowledge our mothers and we don't acknowledge our fathers? And I am just saying it's because most fathers are usually absent, even though there are women who normally abandon their women who usually abandon their children. It's like 10% of the women abandon their children, but 90% of the men also abandon their children. And also men are not affectionate towards the children. They are quick to punish, but they are not affectionate to the children. So let me know, guys, what do you think about that? So that's what we are actually on right now. Scontetsu says, yes, what you just said about the percentage of who abandons who. No, I feel like most men normally abandon children. You guys just, your work is just to impregnate people and just leave them alone. Okay? I'm sorry, but like in 2026, I'm actually very afraid to be pregnant for anyone, because it's like, I'm not real sure if this person is gonna stick around. Diamond says, there are more families that are united than not, but we only focus on broken families and blame the men. No, No, we don't blame the men. We actually want them to take responsibility. Okay? We want them to take responsibility because like most men, and you guys, I don't know if you're understanding me. What I'm saying is like most men are quick to punish their children, but they are not quick to show affection to the children. Like, because you know why mothers, people are usually fond of their mothers, because the mothers punish and they also love. Okay, the mother, your mother is gonna punish you, and she's also will be the next person to love you. So you kind of like get like, if she punishes me, it's like she's trying to correct a mistake. But what do fathers do? They only punish. They are not there emotionally absent. Okay, they are there physically, emotionally absent, manipulative, like most of the time. And let me the other reason why so many children are fond of their mother than their fathers is like, when, let's say, you grow up in a patriarchal society and the men are always fighting the women. Okay, so let's say you grew up, your father was always beating your mom, and for in a child's brain, what does is like, you always feel so much like mercy for your mom, and that's why like you end up just disliking your dad. He can be a good father, but if he wasn't a good husband, yeah, you're not gonna like him. Okay, Diamond says there are more families that are united than not, but we only focus on broken families and blame the men. No, I don't think we focus. I think it's just reality. It's just reality. Okay, even the men in this chat can agree with me. Like, you, even as a man, you are also raised by a man. Okay, and you know how your father felt to you. Do you feel like your father was affectionate to you? Because that's the problem. Most fathers are emotionally absent. Context too. My dad was the disciplinarian in the family. How did you like the discipline? How did you like the discipline? Because for me, growing up, my father was a disciplinarian. My mom used to love on us, but my dad was a real disciplinarian. Like, he was like the person who is so quick to punish you. But of course, because it was also a patriarchal society, these people don't show any affection. It's like just dry. Uh-huh. Dottie D says, my father was just loving as my mother. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear, but like, that out here, it's not common to have like a loving father. Let me tell you, it's not common. And I'm so glad for social media right now that we are getting to see other countries and how they are able to treat their women, how other countries are able to treat their children. Because in most African countries, you cannot even hug your father. Okay, for example, like for me, I think I've never hugged my dad. Okay, and it's a story for so many people. Like, you cannot even hug your father if you're a guy. Even there's no affection whatsoever in the family. Okay, it's just like, yeah, I just feel so inspired when I see families that are like cuddly, loving, you know. But for so many people in especially, but that's what I'm liking about us being able to assimilate with other cultures. We are able to learn things like that and learn like embracing your child is not a bad thing. Okay, it's not a bad thing. That's one of the things that we are learning from other continents like US, Europe. You know, Europeans are so affectionate towards each other. Like, even somebody that you don't know, you just give them a peck when you're greeting them. And out here, it's just like, how are you doing? Shaking hands and moving on. Diamonds. In the US, 40% of the families are broken, which means 60% of the men are taking care of their families. But what are we talking about? Bad dads. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. No, it's not even about broken families here. Let me tell you. So many men are normally present in the children's life, but they are present but emotionally absent. Okay, I'm talking about a man who is in your life, but he's just there to punish you. He's just there to tell you what he's doing for you, like, I'm sacrificing for you, and all of this type of stuff. Scon says, I think someone has to take on the responsibility of discipline. So a man takes that role. And you know what else you can do? You can take on the responsibility of being the disciplinarian and also be loving. You can be able to do those things, because when you're the only one who is disciplining, then the children like the other parent better. okay? I feel like men should just stop this whole thing of like, I'm just a disciplinarian only. You should be a disciplinarian and love on your children. Because what do you mean that like you're there very quick to beat your children, but you cannot even hug them? Diamonds, on what context you just stated, then why aren't we talking about women mothers not taking on the hard role? Which role, Diamonds? Which role? Which hard role is there? Because as far as I'm concerned, women have already taken the hard roles. Which role are you talking about? Because I think the hard role is the providing role, okay? So many men are just emotionally absent and also financially absent. Like, this person wants just to be there and like always there complaining like, oh, I'm sacrificing so much for you guys, okay? And this also brings me to the other topic of like, I don't want children in the year 2026, because it's like right now it's actually very, very scary to have children. Like and the reason that I say this is because like we are talking about absent fathers, okay? But we are also talking about present fathers that feel absent. And to me, I feel like in the year 2026, the only good thing that you can do to yourself is not to have a child. You just don't want to add to the whole complication, the whole mess, you know? I think someone has, okay. Daima says, on what's, okay, the hard role of being the disciplinarian. You're saying that the woman is the loving one, but then you say they are doing everything. Okay, that one I have to accredit men. Men are the disciplinarian, but also, okay, I was thinking I was thinking Diamas, I was thinking you were talking about providing, because so many women that men have run away, so many women have become the providers to the children. Yeah, I think the disciplinarian role is a hard role, but why can't it be shared between the man and the woman? Because the moment one parent is the disciplinarian, then the children just think that this person is an awful person. Why can't these roles be shared between the man and the woman? Okay, why can't these roles be shared? Do you think that like a woman can be a disciplinarian? Okay, and also in relation to this topic, and also what I'm saying that Africa is rising, this is one of the other things that I'm talking about, like because of course we know a country, the basic unit of a society is family, okay? And one of the other things that have gone wrong with Africa is the basic family unit, okay? We are not loving, okay? We are just known for like giving birth to a lot of children, filling their country, but we are not affectionate. We don't give our children quality of life here in Africa. And that maybe is about to change in this year 2026, because so many people are learning about family planning and different forms of contraception. People are learning about how to protect themselves. So that's another point. Like when it comes to family is also a very influential part of like the reason why Africa is gonna rise, because you cannot say that a society is gonna rise if it doesn't start with the basic family unit. Yeah, so how do you guys think about that? Yes, so on back to the to our topic, the reason why Africa is rising and the reason why this year Africa is on the rise is because when other countries are starting to go down, Africa gets to see an opportunity to just rise up. And like, it's like when you have number 1, number 2, number 3, and these people are always on that number, okay? When you see one person drop, you can be able to rise up and fix that position. And I'm not overhyping Africa, saying that like it's going to the next United States, because first of all, one of the problems that we have with Africa is like lack of unity, okay? And more African countries are starting to agree. More African countries are starting to like do business with each other, okay? Yesterday we saw the game between Senegal and Morocco, okay? And we know, first of all, I want to raise something here, okay? The on the topic of like Africa will never unite. I saw this football match yesterday between Senegal and Morocco. And of course, you know, most people normally say that Moroccans and North African countries are not Africans. First of all, the first question, do you think North African countries are Africans? Okay, because first of all, they continuously like disconnect themselves from Africa. They continuously say that they're not Africans. Okay, and actually yesterday we saw Senegal being disrespected on that football, on that wherever they were playing the football. Senegal felt disrespected. Of course, it's a bunch of black people, and they left the game, and they had to be begged to come back to play. Okay, so first of all, that is one of the other reasons that like Africa is on the rise, but it's not gonna rise until people unite. But North Africa continuously like disconnect themselves from Africa. Okay, they continuously say that they're not Africans, they're Arabs. So do you think that North Africans are actually Africans? Okay, and today I saw that I saw somebody said that like they are black and they are from Algeria, and also Algeria is a place with like light skinned people who look like Arabs. And this girl was talking about like the worst type of racism. I think she lives somewhere in UK, but she was saying the worst type of racism that she's ever gone through was in Algeria, because these North Africans keep saying that they're not Africans. Okay, so and that got me thinking like, what determines if you're African or not? Is it being black, or is it the continent? That is interesting. Okay, so Scon says everyone in a family has a job. Women nurture, men secure. And sometimes to secure, you have to ensure your children are making good decisions. Yeah, but why can't women and men share that role of like, why can't men also be nurturing? Okay, why can't men secure and also nurture? Why can't women, if women are expected to also provide for these families and also nurture, why can't men also take on that role? Scott says, I don't know, Mexico is in South America, but they are not American. But they are. They are American, okay? America, the continent, they are part of, actually, like, I have seen people say that, like, oh, I'm gonna be traveling to America. And after the end, I just see them in Costa Rica or Panama or even Mexico, okay? So you want to, so who is this? Scon, you're telling me that North Africans are not Africans. Is it about the race? Is it about the skin color, or it's about the continent? Okay, because if it's about the skin color, Africans should just be called black. Okay? Adoshi D, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Dottie, I can see you. My father was just a... No, Dottie, you didn't say anything. Dottie, you didn't say anything. What did you say? Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. It's the continent. It's the culture. Okay. Personally, I believe it's the continent, because it's like, the reason why we are being called Africans is because we reside in the continent of Africa. Because if anything, we are just black people. Okay, we are just black people. But it's so interesting to see like the way, even the other year during the World Cup, Morocco continuously said that they are not Africans. It's the culture. Let me know. And also Arabs also, the Arabs say that Moroccans are not Arabs. Okay, I have seen that discussion somewhere online. Like Arabs also disown North Africans. They say that they are not Arabs like them. It's just so complicated. That's one of the reasons why Africa will never unite, because it's like, if you guys like keep looking at each other's differences, and I know it's different, because I feel like people from North Africa look more European than even Asians. They look more white than anything else. Scott says it's the culture. I don't know more about their culture, but I believe they have a different culture. Yeah, but for me, I think for most of them, it's about the skin color. Like, they just look at us black, and then they look at Arabs. They're like, I feel like I'm more Arab than anything else. Dottie D says, I have been, I thought I was disconnected, but as long as you can see me. Okay, I can see you, Dottie. I can see you, Dottie. Thank you for staying with me, Doti. Scon says, I'm not saying that they are not Africa. I'm just saying that being in Africa might not make you African. No, okay. So you want to say that they are Arabs? Arabs are saying that like North Africans are not Arabs, okay? And North Africans, Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, uh, all these countries, they continuously say that they're not African. So that's what I'm saying. Are they African? I'm not saying that they are not Africa. I'm just saying that Africa might not make you African. Yeah, I think this is just like a competition of skin color. And I keep saying that nobody wants to be associated with Africa, even African themselves. Okay, you explain, we keep explaining ourselves. No, I'm not African like that. Like, let's say you meet somebody from Morocco and you're like, oh, where are you from? And then they say Morocco. You're like, oh, so you're African. No, they're going to be like, no, I'm not African like that. North Africans are not Africans. Do you think Canadians are American? Uh-huh. Right. Tricky one. But basically, they are in America. As far as I'm concerned, Canadians are in America. Although they're not Canadians because they have their own country. But when we come to generalize, they are. They are in the continent. Okay? If it's about the continent, then yes. Because when we start talking about country, United States, okay, we talk about Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Argentina, okay, that's the continent. Okay. Dottie says, I'm African American, but I never been to Africa. I've never been to Africa. Okay, Dottie. And it's not even about like, have you ever been to Africa? It's about like, do you think that like North Africans, okay, they look Arabic? Okay, they don't look Arabic. For me, when I look at them, they look more European than anything else. But you can tell that they are not. They look more European than anything else. But somebody said that like they are European from Timu. That they are European from Timu. No, I feel like they look more European than anything. They are did you know that like there's one of the North African countries, I don't know which country it is, but that had applied to be part of the European Union. I think I have to ask Google that one. Oh, do you guys know, before I ask Google, do you guys know which North African country had applied to join the European Union? Because that's also funny. I think I can check. Let me check. Which North African country had applied to be part of the European Union? Let me type here. Which North African country had applied to be part of European Union? Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at typing, like I keep typing so slowly. European Union, and they were denied. That is just humorous. Oh, the North African countries that had applied to join the European Union include, okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Dottie says it was Morocco. But Google says it was Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Libya, Tunisia. These countries have been involved in various association agreements with the European Union, aiming to enhance economic and trade cooperations. Okay. But were they granted? I think they were denied. Okay, let me add this, and denied. European Union and denied. Morocco. Oh, So Morocco was the one that was denied. Morocco applied to join the European Union in 1987 but was denied due to European Union's criteria for membership, which state that a country must be deemed a European country to be eligible for European Union membership. Morocco is not considered such a country, leading to the denial of its application. Wow. It's like, of course, and also, I was just wondering, didn't they read the qualification to be part of the European Union? Because it's just so shameful, just because like you guys look like the Europeans, thinking that like you're obligated to be part of that. You're not supposed to be part of these other people because black or what? Yeah. Well, if Canadians are Americans, you might want to tell them. If Canadians are Americans, you might want to tell them to stop being so mad at us for trying to make them the 51st state. No, like Canada is a whole country with its own rules, regulations, with its own way of doing things. Like you cannot just. It's like, okay, no, like it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. What I'm saying is like the reason the North African countries that do not want to be associated with Africa is because they are racist. And we saw that like the other day, if you were watching IShowSpeed, you saw how he was treated in, was it Egypt? Yeah, Egypt. They don't really care about black people, literally. Okay? So I'm just assuming that is like the basis in which they consider that. But you see, saying that like if Canadians are Americans, you might want to tell them to stop being so mad. Why would you want to make it's just like African countries. Every country is a country by itself, but that doesn't stop you from being African. Okay, and I know so many people get upset when they are called African. They want you to say that like Tanzanian, Rwanda. They just want you to mention the country that they come from. So I feel like it's the same thing. .ed. I need to watch that, but I haven't. Oh, the whole thing about what do you need to watch? The game. There's so many things happening. The game, you can watch. Also, the IShowSpeed in Egypt that was like kind of like racist. Okay, so what do you wanna watch? Okay, because Morocco continuously have said that they're not part of Africa. Okay, actually, I think it was some 2 years ago during the World Cup, they said that they are not supposed to be referred to be Africans. Okay, so, and hey guys, if you just joined the chat, welcome to the live. My name is Wamboi, and over here we talk about things to do Africa, global politics, and things like that. And I'm asking you guys, North Africa have continuously denied to be part of Africa. Okay, they have always, actually we were just looking at Morocco. Morocco had applied to be part of the European Union and they were denied because Morocco is located in Africa. So do you think this is racism or what? Because I don't see why like they didn't read the qualification to be part of the European Union. So we are just laughing about it, wondering like why would Morocco apply to be part of the European Union? Okay, and also yesterday we saw the game between Morocco and Senegal, and Senegal was kind of like being disrespected, and they did quit the game until they were begged to like finish playing the game. So it's actually interesting things, and I'm wondering why don't North Africans want to be associated with Africa, which is why, and the reason this came up, you can see from the title we are talking about this year Africa rises, but Africa cannot rise if these things are not straightened. Okay, that guy you keep mentioning, IShowSpeed, yes. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I don't watch continuously, but like I think I have had a glimpse of so many African countries just because I want to know about them, because of course I am talking to you guys about Africa. I need to be informed. Okay, but it's actually pretty interesting just to see the way like the skin color talks in everything. Yeah, so scones. If Canadians, okay, let me pin your comments, scones. If Canadians pin message, so that like everybody can see it. Yeah. So now I don't think it works like that. Okay, it's one thing to say that like Canadians are part of the European Union. Oh, it's one thing to say that Canada, Mexico is just part of the American, but they are not part of United States. It's just like saying that like Kenya is part of Africa, but Kenya is not African. Okay, Kenya is not Africa. Okay, so yeah, I think most of these things happens because nobody wants to be associated with Africa. The guy who you keep okay. Yeah, but also I think we didn't also finish the topic that we were talking about women and men. Okay, I think my conclusion to that, like Dottie says, I've actually learned not to call everyone African, but to call them Kenyan, Nigerian, etc. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I think with this whole topic, my mindset was, don't call me African, call me Kenyan. That was my mindset from the go. But then I realized so many people want to generalize for clickbait. Most people do that, like, oh, I went and I visited Africa, and they were in somewhere in Rwanda or Botswana. They like generalizing because that makes them, there's this whole notion that Africa is small. But do you know Africa is actually even larger than United States? Very large when you count like the area. Okay, so but like I used to be upset, but these days I don't get upset. I have to choose what I get upset over. Like somebody saying I'm African, yes I am, I'm African, but yeah, I would prefer somebody to call me Kenyan or whatever. But you can't change how people want to like make you feel or something of that sort, because I feel like the whole thing of like it's just ego games. Because when you look at Europeans, okay, when you see someone, you don't generalize that this person is European. No, you say they are German, you say they are Italian, you say they are Spanish. Okay, that's just it. Okay, so also I was gonna say that, like, concluding on the topic that we were having about the reason why most children prefer their mothers or like are fond of their mothers than their fathers. I just want to conclude this because fathers choose not to be fond. Fathers choose to be distant to their children, and especially in this generation, the generation that's ending. I don't know, because now we are the next parents. My generation, we are the next parents. I think it's gonna be very different because people of my generation wanna give their children something different from what they were given. So that's also pretty interesting. So that's also pretty interesting, and it's going to change. And also social media is going to change the way people are bringing up their children. Fathers are going to be more involved. There's going to be more of like a loving relationship between families. So it's actually going to be an interesting time to be parents. Do you feel like parenthood is going to change during this generation? Okay, do you think that it's going to change? Yeah, so before we, let me show you guys some things that are for. So the question is, I'm starting a poll, and the question is, do you think that Africa is rising? Okay, do you think that Africa is rising, or are we just hyped up? Okay, and the reason why I say that is like we saw who say that like Africa is not rising. Okay, so you can answer that. You can, if you say yes, click on the yes. If you say no, click on the no, and then you're going to see the votes. Do you think Africa is rising? A lot is changing between gender roles, and it's not good at all. Okay, yeah, a lot is changing. A lot is changing between gender roles. In the next generation, we're not gonna have like the whole patriarchal thing. But I think that is pretty good for feminists, for people who are advocating for women. It's actually such a nice thing. it's actually such a nice thing just to see, because I think in the previous, the whole thing about patriarchy, men were the one who were benefiting. It was always about the men, but now for the first time it gets to be about the women. Okay, or it gets to be about everybody. Okay, it gets to be about the men, it gets to be about the women. Diamonds, I said no because I don't know. Okay, so yes, we have the votes. We have 75% said yes, 25% said no. Okay, so for the ones who said yes, let me know, comment, type something to say like, why do you think that Africa is rising? And I think Diamond said no because he said he already gave an explanation. I said no because I don't know. Okay, I think I'm not allowed to vote, but if I would vote, I think I would vote yes. And the reason why I would vote yes is because I can see the change. I can see the change happening. It's happening slowly but surely. Okay, and people, I think other continents should be watching out for Africa, because we are changing. Okay, we are changing. We are rising up. We are becoming great continuously. Okay, we are becoming great continuously. So it's like, in the moment African countries are gonna be able to unite, that will be game over for you all. So 80% of the people say yes, and 20% say no. So can you guys just type to if women will take of the role of disciplinarian? No, I don't think women can do that, especially for the boy child. Okay, boys need their fathers to guide them. That is one of the things that I have to agree with you guys. Boys actually do need their fathers to guide them. Okay, Dottie says the reason why she agrees that Africa is rising is because people are being educated. Yeah, that's true. All the primitive stuff is going away. People are opening their eyes. People are being more positive about developing themselves. Scone States, who says yes because of social media, is showing Africa in a new and better light. Yeah, wow. Okay, the ones who said no, why did you say no? Because you have 20% said no. Why did you say no? Okay. So, and also, actually, as you guys answer that, and I'm actually about to end the live, okay, but not right now, in the next few minutes. I was gonna talk about like consistency, okay? Consistency. One of the things that can be able to help Africa is just like, because change doesn't happen. Change doesn't happen at once. It's slow progress. Leaders be choosing to choose the right path. Leaders saying no to corruption, slowly but surely. And the reason I was gonna say about consistency is because also with this live, okay, and the way I've been coming on here every day, it's not easy to stay consistent, especially when you don't have like a huge audience. But it's good to stay consistent because it actually makes you not to quit, because the moment you don't come on here, like today I was about to not come here, okay, I was feeling tired and all of these things, but I said, you know what, let me just come on here and let us keep the conversation going, because one of the things that I know that helps is consistency. Okay, guys, if you're joining the live, my name is Wamboi, and I would appreciate if you like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, Diamond says 20% or 5% is just me. Oh, okay. Scott Tetsu says corrupt leadership is our biggest problem. Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Corrupt leadership is our biggest problem. That's the truth. Like, if corruption were to end in Africa, the growth that would happen would be huge. Okay, leaders to stop being selfish. Okay, Africa is going to get there. Okay, it might be slowly but surely, but Africa is on the rise. Okay, Africa is on, and it's not even about this hype, because we have always been the ones that follow what others tell us to do. But this time round, I think, for example, what Malawi did set the example. not Malawi, Mali, okay? Mali set an example, and the way we are continuing, it's like more African countries are gonna follow suit, and it's actually going to be such a huge thing. It's going to be huge. Development is gonna be happening, and I think Africa is the next thing to be watched. Dottie says, going to miss you. Bye. Dimas. Dimas with your little emojis. Yeah, so I think today I'm gonna get off here like real quick. I think I came on late or something of that sort. So I think we're gonna end there. I actually had fun with you guys. So I had fun with you guys, and like so I think we're gonna see each other. I don't wanna promise, never wanna promise anything, but like I think we're gonna see each other the next time. So I think we're gonna end this live right here and say, by concluding that like Africa is rising up, but there's still hindrances, there's still things that are stopping us from becoming, okay? So that is also interesting to look at, like the only way that Africa can rise, and this year Africa have a chance of rising up, because there's so many loopholes that like Africa can be able to take on and overtake the world, you know what I'm saying. Like Africa have an opportunity to become great this year. So having said that, I want to say goodbye, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, guys. Thank you for always giving me a chance, okay? Because it's about building a community, okay? It's about hanging out with you guys until you get fond of me, and within no time we're gonna build a community, a huge community right here, and I have faith in that. So you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and until next time, bye bye.